GM Filmways movie. The script called for one short sequence showing troops going ashore in France on D-Day in World War II. This is the spot they've selected for recreation of the event, 5,000 miles from where it really happened. The scene will run 3 minutes on the screen, but 4 months of preparation, a week of shooting, and $250,000 are required to get it on film. Here, 60 miles north of Hollywood, a small town is set up for the hundreds of actors and technicians. Tons of equipment are brought in. This 250-foot high crane is needed for cameras that will photograph the scene from the air. Long before the actors arrive, construction crews work to make the beach look like Normandy on that fateful day more than 20 years ago. Every operation must have a general. Martin Ransahoff, who is producing the picture, is the man in charge of this one. Here he begins working out action for one day's scenes. Filming in a dangerous surf presents special problems. Cameramen select position of the camera platforms. Then Ransahoff climbs atop a platform to test it. Today's movie producer must be agile of body as well as mind. This camera being carried through the surf will catch close-ups of the actors as they go ashore. Other technicians are planting more than 5,000 pounds of explosives, mostly dynamite and black powder bombs. They're carefully placed in iron pots sunk into the sand. This is dangerous business. Position of each explosive has to be worked out in advance. And each must be connected to wires that lead to a central control board. From this board, the dynamite charges will be set off on cue. James Garner, one of the film's stars, and the director, Arthur Hiller, talk over the first scene. They agree on a morning of rehearsal before a camera will turn. Garner also checks with Paul Byrd, the special effects expert. His job, to make it look so much like D-Day, even Eisenhower might be fooled. The actors must know where each explosive is placed, and Byrd is the man to tell them. Nobody got ashore on D-Day without getting wet. This must look like the real thing, so Garner dives into the surf before rehearsals begin. He comes ashore and falls, just as he will do when cameras start turning. It's a cool day, and they're not taking any chance of Mr. Garner catching cold. A blanket keeps him warm while the rehearsal goes on. Other cameras are set up. There will be 4 filming simultaneously. Rehearsal is over. It's time for a lunch break. Hot food is brought to the beach area for the company of more than 100. There's no standing on protocol on location. It's first come, first served, including the stars. The luncheon break is cut to 30 minutes, for daylight is a valuable commodity when filming on location. With chow time out of the way, Director Hiller calls Garner and his co-star James Coburn for a final discussion. Garner portrays a U.S. Navy lieutenant. Coburn is his wartime buddy. Though most of the picture takes place far from the battlefield, in this sequence the two are very much in the thick of the action. Reflectors are adjusted. The moment everyone has been working toward is here. Lights are needed even in the sun. Cameras are ready. The assistant director shouts for quiet. The extras get their last-minute instructions from Hiller. Like the stars, they've been briefed on the exact spot of each explosive. One camera crew is hoisted aloft by the crane. Another goes into the water. Now the smoke pots are lighted. There are 80 of them, and each has an assigned position. Everything is now in readiness. The cameraman uses a meter to check the light. Director Hiller makes a check with camera viewfinder, then signals, "Okay, all is ready." "Action," yells an assistant. Garner and Coburn plunge into the freezing surf and begin their part of the scene, one that sets up a surprise ending for the picture, in which Julie Andrews and Melvyn Douglas also are starred. Now the weeks of careful preparation pay off. The bombs explode as planned, all on schedule, as Paul Byrd signals the cues from the control board. These are moments fraught with danger, all for 3 minutes of exciting action in the Americanization of evidence. The scene is over. Everything has gone as planned. Producer and director are satisfied. So James Garner, at the finish of another busy day, goes to his portable dressing room. At least he knows every day will not be so rugged. Soon to be filmed are scenes with lovely Julie Andrews, who plays Emily. Scenes such as this one, which takes place far from the war front.
For all your charm, you're a scoundrel, Charlie. Seems I don't mind making love to a scoundrel, but I think it immoral to marry one.
The gentleman at my side is about to have an experience that no other actor ever had before. He's going to have a chance to see himself perform on the Broadway stage. Richard Burton, we know that movies are something you see on the screen, and plays are something you see live on the stage. What is theatral film with electronovision?
Well, I don't know exactly what the process is. I'm no scientist. I can't describe exactly what happens, but I have seen tests of various shots in this new process, electronovision, and I can only tell you that to a layman like myself, it seems to be like a very well-produced film, as one normally sees it in the theater, except in the cinema, except that this, of course, is shot in the Lunt-Fontanne Theatre with an actual live audience and with the actors performing, neither being adept or inadequate or good or fluffing or being articulate, just as they would if you went to see a production tonight at the Lunt-Fontanne Theatre. It is peculiarly unique, I think, because none of the actors make any concession to this new process. In other words, we don't tone it down in order to seem like film actors or play it up because the cameras are perhaps a little further away than they would be in a movie studio or in a television studio. It's played exactly as is, and the result, I think, will probably be certainly unique, possibly extraordinary, and perhaps epoch-making. That is something for the audience to decide.
Will he get the immediacy of the live Broadway production of Hamlet when this is translated onto theatral film with electronovision?
I think he will. I think he will, because the nervousness of the actors, the knowing that they can't go back on it, that this is it for all time, unlike, shall we say, in films where you can, if you make a mistake, go back and do it again. I think the particular tensity and nerves of this is probably the same kind of thing that excites a real live audience in a real live theater.
Now, what is the flight plan of this, and you've used a very good phrase, when Hamlet bursts upon the 20th century? Now, with electronovision, Hamlet can burst in over 1,000 places at once. Are you going to synchronize it so that in every town in America, people go in the same day, buy their ticket, report to the theater, and enjoy the play live, but not quite live?
I understand that it will be shown on the 23rd and 24th of September in something like 1,000 theaters simultaneously for 2 performances on those 2 dates, and will never possibly be shown again. It will be exactly as they shot it in the theater. There's no cheating of any kind. I mean, there's no trick shots of on the top of somebody's head or anything like that. It's actually what you do see in the theater.
Give me an idea what impact it'll have on entertainment around the world if theatral film with electronovision connects.
I think it could be fantastic. Of course, this is very much experimental, this one, and we don't quite know how well it will succeed or whether people will be interested in seeing it. We think they will, because the demand already has become quite considerable, I understand. Whether it will become a major thing in the theater, I don't know. I suspect, with my producer, Alexander Cohen, that it will only be for special events.
Richard Burton, the actor at ground zero when Hamlet exploded into the 20th century.